Okay, now it's time to get a little bit of mud. We've just taken some all-purpose drywall mud. I've kind of stirred it a little bit here. I'm going to put a little bit in my mud pan. And that's about all we'll need for this job. I've got a 6-inch putty knife to start out with, and that's usually the best thing to start out with. Now the good thing about using mesh tape for a patch is that we don't have to use we don't have to use mud to embed the tape on the wall. So in some ways we've already got our first step done, which in a traditional sense would be to stick the tape to the wall with the mud. Sometimes you've got to do that and then let it dry, come back and put the second coat on. So in some ways we're already applying our second coat in a traditional 3-coat process. So that's why when you do patching, it kind of helps to use the mesh tape. Now when you put it on, you want to load the front of your putty knife and then start at the top, or you can start at the bottom, either way. In this case, it's more convenient to start at the top. And as you go down, flatten out the knife to the wall like this so you can start to release the putty off the knife as you come down. Same way as we go across. We're going to flatten out as we go. You can see here I'm putting on a real thick coat. We don't want to leave it that way. That'd be a lot of sanding. Now we'll come back and take the putty knife and kind of feather out the edge. Now what I'm doing is applying more pressure on the edge that's against the wall here. So as an extreme, what I'm doing is running my putty knife like this. It's not that extreme, but I'm just showing you to help you understand where the pressure needs to be. So the pressure should be on the flat side of the putty knife that is hitting the wall, not the patch. I'm doing that here too. So I'm kind of, as I go around, I'm feathering out the edge. Now this build-up in the middle, a little too thick. We don't want to be that tall. So we'll take a little bit of that off as well. Now, if this were a bigger patch, you might feather the inside of the patch down to the wall too. But since it's so small, let's let the putty build up here, and we'll kind of flatten it across the front. So I want to fill that in too. When I come back for my second coat, I just kind of want a base here that will be good for feathering out my last coat. So, like I've said before, that's really like putting 2 coats of putty on in a traditional sense. We've got our tape in, and we've got our fill coat on. The last coat is our finish coat, which will kind of smooth everything out. We'll do a little more feathering at the edge. And after that, we're going to do our sanding and painting, and we'll be done.